we are just going to go ahead and jump right in. We're going to introduce our wages staff here and then get into the details of our webinar. So actually, Lindsay, let me throw it right back to you to introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. My name is Lindsay Thurman, and I am the Marketing and Public Relations Strategist for Childcare Wages Tennessee. I mainly deal with the marketing side and also do outreach in the field. So hopefully I will one day see some of y'all's faces in person. But yeah, and I'm really happy that you all are here.
Hi, everyone. My name is Josue Vega. I am the Marketing and Communications Specialist for Childcare Wages Tennessee. So like Lindsay, I also work on the marketing side of things, and I'm also out in the community. And I see a lot of faces now that I recognize, so it's great to have you guys. And hopefully the new faces I will see very soon out in the community.
Hi, my name is Jenny Dragers, and I am one of the education counselors here in Tennessee, and I cover most of the part of the Midwest Tennessee region.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jessica Wright, and I am also an education counselor, and I deal with the Upper East part of Tennessee.
Hi, everyone. My name is Kaylee Jefferson, and I deal with the Middle Eastern part of Tennessee with Childcare Wages.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Shelby Quillen. I am an education counselor here at Wages. I have counties in West Tennessee and in the Southeast region as well.
Hi, everyone. I'm Stephanie Willingham. I am an education counselor here at Wages, and I cover the Mid-East region of Tennessee.
Hi, my name is Allie Tootle. I am the Deputy Director here at Childcare Wages, and I work closely with Jen to make sure that everyone is paid correctly and paid on time. And I'm always here to answer any questions that anyone has as well.
And I didn't introduce myself earlier. I'm Jen Tedder. I am the Director for Childcare Wages. So I've been here since April, so it's relatively new, but I'm really loved it and just so blessed to be able to work with all these great educators every day and the great staff. So I'm going to get Allie. Allie's going to start us off telling us a little bit of a background about Wages.
So a little bit about childcare wages. There are some problems that we try to address here for childcare wages. The first problem is low pay. So the average pay of an early childhood educator is $11.39 per hour. And that's regardless of their education level. There are many people that we have who have bachelor's degrees, master's degrees, and even doctorates in education. And so we really want to see those people recognized for the education that they have. Another problem that we've seen is high turnover. Because of the low pay rate that people have, about 30% of teachers in early childhood leave within that first year. And so when we have teachers coming and going, it really negatively impacts the children. We know that stability really helps children's early development in those years. And then there are people who, don't have the resources to provide their employees with pay raises if they do continue their education. And so sometimes that discourages people from continuing their education because they may not get, that extra pay on the back end. And we do know that when people are working and going to school at the same time, it is a sacrifice. So that's something that people are really taking into consideration. Is it going to pay off for them afterwards financially as well? But we are here to provide some solutions, which we're so excited about. So we give salary supplements to early childhood educators. And so by giving those salary supplements to the educators, children benefit from high quality education. So one of the things that we here at Wages have experienced as educators ourselves is that when you know more, when you're more educated, you have more tools in your toolbox to be able to really help yourself in those situations, such as anything from transitions, like when you're transitioning the 2-year-old class from the classroom to outside. Sometimes it's like herding cats, or if you have biters in your classroom or different things like that. It's really nice to be able to lean on some of the education that you've gotten to be able to have some of those strategies, because as you know, each And so you want to be able to have different strategies in order to do that. And so when you have that education, it is super helpful because we don't want any teachers to be burnt out. So because we don't want teachers to be burnt out, education retention is one of the primary goals of Wages, because we want a stable learning environment for children to develop, because as we know, those first 5 years are really when the brain develops the most. So we're prioritizing children and the welfare of the teachers. When the teachers are happy, the children are happier. And we want to nurture the future of Tennessee's youngest learners. And by helping the teachers be happier and be recognized for their hard work. Where they work may not be able to pay them financially for the education that they have earned, but through Wages, not only are we able to help them with that salary supplement, through our surveys, we found that many people, one of the big things that they feel excited about is feeling recognized for their hard work and knowing that what they do matters. And that's one of the things that we here at Wages believe is that early childhood educators do matter, and they make such a huge difference in the lives of children, even though the pay may not always match that. So a little bit about our history of kind of how we started. So the Wages program started really with just the city of Chattanooga back in 2019. And so we were with only people who worked in the city of Chattanooga for about 6 months. And then we expanded statewide. And as of September 20, which was the end of our fiscal year, we had given over $12 million in salary supplements across the state, which is absolutely fantastic. So kind of how it works for us, we are licensed by Child Care Services Association, which is in North Carolina. They license a few states across the U.S. For programs like this. And then what we do is we're funded by the Tennessee Department of Human Services. So they're our funder, where we get our money from. And then we all are employees of Signal Centers, and they're the ones who are administering the Wages program. So that's a little bit about how that works. So to date, we've actually given over $14.4 million in supplements. So that's absolutely fantastic. So we already have 982 child care centers participating. And over 3,000 educators paid. And one of the goals of Wages is just to continue to let these numbers build, because as more educators are being impacted, more children are being impacted as well. Because we never want educators to have to choose from doing what they love or supporting their families. We want them to be able to do both, because as you know, you probably know more than one early childhood educator who would work full-time at their center and leave and go have a part-time job to be able to financially support themselves. And we want to decrease that as much as possible. So we'll talk a little bit more about this as the presentation continues, but just under half of our educators are on something called a permanent level on our education scale, which means that once they reach that level, they can choose whether or not to continue their education, but they will be paid as long as funding is available, which we don't see that ending anytime soon. There are people on a temporary level, which means that they will be paid for 2 years. And in that 2 years, if they move up on the scale by gaining more education, then they can continue to be paid. And we're paid in 6-month supplements. So once they have completed a 6-month commitment period, the average of what people are receiving right now is about $1,600 every 6 months, which can make a huge difference. And this has impacted over 47,000 children just from June of 22 to July of 23. So we're super excited about, the impact that Wages has made on teachers and children and early childhood in general. And we hope to continue. So this is Robin Fredericks, and she just has a really good story, and she's a part of Wages, and I hope you enjoy hearing her story.
My name is Robin Fredericks, and I work at the Academy of Cool Springs, and I'm a pre-K teacher. I've been in childcare for so long, it's really, when I have an impact on their lives and they improve and they learn what they want to learn and they reach their goals, it's very satisfying, and it makes me happy, it makes them happy, and I just think it's really important to keep on teaching them that they can learn new things, and it's exciting to me, you know. When it comes to eating, resting, playing, outside, inside, learning, one-on-one with the teacher, I think a quality center has all those things. And I think the teacher has to love her job and want to be here. You know, I think it's really hard if you have someone here that doesn't want to be here. I mean, the kids pick it up. They want to feel loved, and they want to feel that their teacher is happy to be there with them. I've been doing this for 30 years, and I've never gotten any extra money like this, so it's really nice to feel appreciated and receive the extra money. You know, will help me with my financial problems, and, you know, it makes me want to be here longer. I really enjoy my job, and I really appreciate the extra income. I think all educators should apply for wages because it's worth it, because they will give you some extra money, and I think all of us can use the money.
I'm back. I'm going to dig into the details of the grant that we have and the salary supplement that educators can apply for. Oh, it's been a long day. Bear with me. So first of all, I'm going to talk about what it takes to be eligible for wages. So because we're funded by Tennessee Department of Human Services, one of our qualifications is that you have to work in a DHS licensed childcare program. And I know we do have some programs that have DHS licensed classrooms and maybe some that aren't DHS licensed. So the teacher has to work in a DHS licensed classroom and program. $20 or less an hour is the income cap for our program. And so we have a formula that we use to come up with the rate of pay if someone doesn't have like an hourly rate on their pay stub. If they just have a salary, we can figure that up. But it needs to be $20 or less to qualify. And then they need to have one of the education levels on the salary supplement scale, which I'll go over next, and have worked at least 6 months in the same childcare program with ages birth to 5, at least 10 hours per week. And one of the questions that I get a lot is, if a director or an assistant director can qualify if they're not in the classroom full-time. And the answer is yes, as long as you have a set schedule in the classroom for at least 10 hours per week and you meet other qualifications, then, you know, any teacher or assistant director or floater could qualify for wages. And then lastly, be employed at the child care program when funding is available. So kind of the way the timeline works is an educator can apply for wages at any point. If they've worked at your center a day, they can go ahead and apply for wages. But then in 6 months, we're going to call and check and make sure they still work there after that they've been there for 6 months. And if they still work there, then the following month, they will get that payment. But if they're not working there anymore when we call, then they were not eligible for the payment. That means they've left their center, and that is not the goal of our program. Our goal is to keep educators in the classroom and to keep high quality educators that have some education themselves in the classroom. Another thing is if they want to wait after they've worked there for 5 months and then apply, that's fine too. We get a lot of applications where someone's like, okay, I've hit my 6 month mark, I'm going to apply for wages. That works perfectly fine as well. So here's our salary supplement scale. And there's a couple things I want to point out. I'm not going to go through each level. You all can find this on our website, and we'll send you a copy after the meeting. But there are 7 temporary levels and 4 permanent, like Allie was mentioning earlier. So all the way up until you have an associate's degree with 24 credits in early childhood, those are all temporary levels before you get to that associate's degree. That means that you need to continue gaining education to stay on our program. Now, educators have 2 years to move up the ladder, move up the scale, and family child care educators have 3 years to move up the scale. So hopefully that gives them plenty of time to take a couple extra classes if they need to. And then when we're talking about credit hours on this scale, we mean college credit hours. We get a lot of questions about, well, do my training hours count? Or CCR&R came and did a training, does that count? Those are wonderful, and we're so glad that teachers are doing those. But for wages, when we're talking about credit hours, we mean college credit. And the credits need to be from a regionally accredited college or university. So in Tennessee, the easiest way to get college credits in early childhood is to go through a community college. And TECTA is a program that can help you with that. We'll talk about that a little bit later too. The only exception to the college credit rule on our salary supplement scale is level 2. If someone already has a CDA that they've earned through Pro Solutions or some other training organization, and they have their actual completed CDA, not the classes leading up to it, but the completed certificate, we can accept that, and that will be a level 2. If someone doesn't have any college credits at all, I would recommend them going ahead and starting on your academic CDA that's college credits, just so that they're going to go ahead and get on the scale and move up the scale. But if they already have that training CDA, we can take that now, but they will have 2 years to move up to the next level, which would be 18 hours in early childhood or an infant, toddler, or early childhood technical certificate. And the technical certificates are from the community colleges in Tennessee, or 24 hours of general ed with 12 in early childhood. And one thing that I want to point out here is when we say 24 credits of general ed, that's just regular college classes, with at least 12 of those in early childhood, our education counselors are going through transcripts with a fine-tooth comb to try to find classes that are focused on children aged 0 to 5. So sometimes we have applicants that have like a post-secondary or a secondary ed degree. Well, a lot of those teachers, they might have a bachelor's in secondary ed, but they don't have classes focused on children aged 0 to 5. So if they have a bachelor's degree, they will still qualify for our program, but they're going to be at a level 7 temporary, which is a bachelor's degree with fewer than 12 credits in early childhood. And they'll need to go back to school and get a few more credits in early childhood to move up to the next level. And they have their education counselor here that they can call, and we can work with them on making sure that they know what classes that they need to take, and give them some good suggestions for going back to school. Let's see here. On the salary supplement scale, the annual supplement is listed. So for example, level 10, if someone has a bachelor's degree and 30 credits in early childhood, or a master's and 24 credits in early childhood, they could get up to $7,800 per year more in their salary, which is like amazing. That is a huge bump in salary. That supplement is given out in 2 chunks. So half of it is given out after the first 6 months, and then the other half is given to them after the second 6 months, working with children. So if you have, for example, you have a summer off program where you guys don't work in the summer, if that educator doesn't work with children in your center during the summer, they'll have to make up that time. So it may not be exactly 6 months if they're on leave, or if they're on maternity leave or medical leave, they'll have to make up that time, but it's every 6 months worked with children, they'll get half of that supplement. So that's the supplement scale. And one thing to point out about it is that those amounts were for full-time work. We count full-time as 30 hours a week. So if they work at least 30 hours a week with children, they're going to be at that max amount. If they have planning time, we count that as with children if it's a planning hour. So if they get an hour of planning during the week, that is going to count towards their hours with children. Also, again, it must be from a regionally accredited institution. And it's really important when people are choosing where to go to school that they make sure it's accredited through a regionally accredited body. So There's some colleges that are for-profit colleges that sometimes are not accredited. And unfortunately, we can't take those credits. So really important that educators check that first. We've mentioned a little bit about the CDA, so I wanted to show this video that kind of gives a little bit of an extra comparison of what we're talking about when we're looking at a CDA.
Let's talk about the CDA. Earning your CDA is a great way to start in the wages program. We often get a lot of questions regarding the CDA and what the differences are between the academic CDA and a training CDA. Let's dive into that. The training or national CDA can be earned through various training programs. All CDA training programs require educators to demonstrate their knowledge, skills, and abilities in the early childhood education field. The national CDA credential includes an exam, observation, and a portfolio. If you've earned a national training CDA, you will be on a temporary level 2 in the wages program. This is given that you meet all other eligibility requirements. The national CDA does not count towards college credits, so you will need to get started or continue with your college education working towards an associate's or bachelor's in early childhood education to stay on the program. The academic CDA is earned through taking 4 college courses and completing a professional portfolio and exam. If you've earned the academic CDA through a local community college, you will have obtained 12 college credit hours. The credit hours earned to gain your CDA helps you towards your associate's degree in early childhood education and will quickly put you on a pathway to becoming a permanent wages participant. If you're interested in getting more education or earning your CDA, our friends at TECTA are here for you. After you complete their orientation, TECTA will help pay for you to go back to school. Reach out to our friends at TECTA for information on getting help to pursue your CDA and get started on your associates in early childhood education. They've helped so many people just like you achieve their goals in this field. Well, that's it for now. Hopefully, we've been able to clarify a lot. If you have any more questions, please message us at wages@signalcenters.org or on our social media at TNWages. Thanks for stopping by.
So what do participants need to apply and how can you help as a director? So there are 3 requirements for applications, and one is the application, just the paper application. So you can print that on our website, or your participant can print that on our website. They will need to provide their banking information with that application because we direct deposit our supplements. They go right into their bank account on the last day of the month. And we will also need you to sign page 4 of the application. The director signs the application. The participant will need to submit income verification. So if you are at a center and you have just like a regular pay stub that your participant can send in, that is perfect. We'll take a pay stub. Sometimes pay stubs don't have all the information we need on it, and that's okay. Our education counselor will call to get any clarifying questions if they need clarification. If you are a family child care center and you're an owner of a family child care, then what we'll take for income verification is from your taxes, your Schedule C. And if you are an owner of a center, which we don't have very many of those because a lot of times if you own a center, you don't have as many hours inside the classroom. But if you are, then we would need your taxes as well. We would need your 1040 and all supporting documentation. And this is on our application. It spells out exactly what we'll need for income verification. And then lastly, an official transcript. This has to come directly from the college. We can't take like a copy that they've had or anything like that. It needs to come from the college. And most colleges do electronic transcripts, and it's real easy. But if any of your educators need help with that, we're happy to help them walk through that process. Or if they have a CDA, we need just a copy of the certificate. We can take a copy of that. So for the director's responsibility in all of this is completing page 4 for the applicant and signing that. And that's going to tell us their rate of pay, how many hours they work in the classroom with children, how frequently they get paid, and what their position is. And also just give us, verification that the director says this is all true. And then if if you can also just encourage applicants to submit everything. They can email it to us at wages@signalcenters.org or mail it in the mail. We are working on an online application, but it's not ready just yet. We're working on it though. And really some of the centers just give the application to educators when they start. And they put it in their hands and say, hey, this is what you can do. And in 6 months, you can get a bonus. And that can be kind of an incentive for them to stay on with your center. Other centers wait until they've been there a while and give it to them when they're more when they're closer to earning the supplement, closer to that 6 month mark. But either way, I think it's a great idea to tell people up front that that's a possibility. And then if they have any issues at all, they are welcome to call us, email us. On our website, we have a chat feature. They can get on there and chat with us. We're here to help, so we're happy to help. And then you can expect a confirmation call from our education counselor to the director or whoever is the confirmation contact to double check after 6 months that person is still eligible. And so for every participant, you'll get a call every 6 months. So sometimes that might mean you talk to our education counselor twice a year. But if you have a lot of participants that are spread out over the months, you might talk to our education counselor more than twice a year. And it's a real quick call, so it shouldn't be too time consuming. And if there's an easier way for you to communicate with your counselor, if you would prefer email, definitely let them know, and they're happy to email you the questions. Or if there's a certain time of day that is better for you, or a certain day that's better for you, definitely just let them know, and they have a way to keep track of that so that they're reaching out when it's convenient for you. And here's a quote from one of our fantastic educators. This is Jordan. She's an educator at in Cookeville, I believe. And she did not start out on a top level. She started out on one of the lower levels and went back to school and has earned her way up to being at a permanent level. And so she's been able to use that money for her family. And one thing that I love that she says is the last sentence. She says, it relieves a lot of stress that I have surrounding finances, which helps keep me vibrant for the kids in my classroom. And that's just so encouraging to us because, every day, we're working hard to make sure that teachers are getting the supplements that they need and deserve, and to know that it's in turn helping teachers have a less stressful day and be able to pour into their kids is just so encouraging. And so many teachers love what they do and have been doing it forever and wouldn't want to do anything else. But sometimes the pay keeps them from being in the classroom. So we're just really thrilled that we're able to keep them where they want to be, which is good for kids and teachers. So for next steps, definitely share the information that you learned here today. We are going to send you a digital toolkit that has the application, supplement, information about TECTA, and contact information for us. We'll email that to you. And we're also going to ask you to give us some feedback on a survey. This is the first time we've ever done this. And so we're really interested to hear if it was helpful, what could have made it more helpful, and what, in anything any feedback you have. You all are the experts and you're in the field, and we want to engage you all and do what's best for the people who are in the field. And then definitely follow us on social media and use our live chat feature on the website. And just real quick, I'm going to answer this question in the chat. Someone asked about the permanent level. So yes, you can, Allie's answering, but yes, you can, the permanent level, you can be on the permanent level as long as we have funding and as long as you're eligible under the other guidelines. So we have participants, our program started in 2019, and we have participants that have been on a permanent level since 2019, and every 6 months they're getting their supplement. So yes, if you're on a permanent level, you are good to go. And then if you're on that temporary level, you can always work up to be on a permanent level. All right, so the next thing that I'm going to share with you all is our contact information. Our website has been recently revamped and it looks great, thanks to the marketing team. And we are so thankful that you all came, and we are just thankful for you and everything that you do for children. And I hope you enjoy having some quality time with your education counselor.